and yet, I mean, I don't. We'll get into this a little bit later. Not mentioned often enough as one of the top players to ever come out of UVA.
All right.
But we'll get into that.
Italy knows.
Italy and a ton of other places in Europe. And a ton of other places in Europe where you played.
The hardcore fans know too. You know, people really follow Virginia.
I'll tell you something about Travis though. Guys from my era, Trav, if you ever listen to this, that's all I talk about is Brian Stith, June, Corey, whatever. But guys from my era know Trav.
Yeah.
And he gets
all of them
from those
all
times.
of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Trav, on that vein, I want to ask you a question. We usually do it at the end, but I gotta bounce. If you had to do your Mount Rushmore Virginia basketball all time, and I'll give you 5 players you can put on there.
5 players.
5 greatest ever. Whatever way you look at it.
Oh man, that's great. That's a great. I mean, at the 5 spot, I'll go with Ralph.
Yep.
At the 4th spot, I'll go with Junior.
I like it.
At the 3, for me, because it's more biased because I'm personal with Chris Williams and Brian Stith. I mean, I put Chris on there. You know, no disrespect to the OG, but I'm gonna go with Chris. My shooting guard, Curtis Staples, and my point guard. I mean, again, you know, personal opinion, Corey Alexander.
I like it.
That'll be my 5. And then I'll just come off the bench. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with the 6 man.
Yeah, you could probably replace 4 positions too at this point, right? Shit, put him on the wing. Get those jumpers in.
I mean, Junior's tough, man. Junior's tough. That's somebody that definitely should be spoken about. He's definitely one of my all-time favorites, you know, especially a Warrior as well.
We talked.
Go ahead.
No, we were discussing before, like, and I know I'm not supposed to say we were discussing before, but who do you think are kind of the unsung guys, Trav? Let's say, you know, it's a different era now. Tony Bennett, you've been out of the country, so you can be a little. Who do you think are the guys that didn't quite get the respect over time? Besides myself.
I mean, like as we spoke before, one of my favorites, also a brother of mine, is Jason Rogers. At the time we came in together, and he was, you know, supposed to play the 5 spot, and I was recruited as a power forward, but he ended up, you know, not getting as much time as, you know, as he should have gotten at the end of the day.
Yep.
So that's definitely one person that, you know, sticks out for me. Another guy that I got to play 1 year with was Colin Deshawn. That was another big guy that I was actually looking forward to playing with because he was a center, and I watched him on TV before I got there. Yeah. And you know, unfortunately he left, but that was another person that, you know, personally myself that I wanted to get to be able to play with as well.
Where did Colin go? I didn't know he left. Or he
I don't know. You know what? I don't know. I forgot where he transferred to.
I didn't realize that.
He redshirted. He redshirted a year. I think maybe because he got injured or something.
Right.
In my freshman year, like I wasn't promised to start or anything like that. So I just came in ready. I had a whole full summer, everything. Yep. So I just came in full ready. But I understood that he was coming off an injury. So, right. You know, for me, you know, I'm much faster, 18 years old. I'm almost running circles around him. So, but that's something I thought we was gonna put together on the floor because he was a brute, like so strong, like so strong.
Right, yeah.
Made me get in the weight room. So
he
you know,
didn't play.
That I respected.
I don't think he played anywhere after, at least not D1.
He might have maybe I might be wrong. Maybe he, you know, transferred to Longwood or something. I don't know. I tried to follow, but
Oh yeah, maybe it was Longwood. I vaguely remember him leaving a little bit. So we usually could throw it back to how you got started getting serious with basketball. Like what age was that for you when basketball became the thing for you?
I mean, basketball became the thing for me at the age of 15.
Okay.
You know, that's when somebody was just like, "You're really good," you know, and so I listened. I was a listener, so I followed people who wanted me around, and they was always instruction. I was always finding myself at that age, even younger, playing with older guys, guys in my neighborhood. I'm from Texas, so they see me. I was a tall 12-year-old kind of. So they was like, "Come on, man." So I was playing, picking the tallest guy, being the youngest guy out there on the court sometimes. So after that, it just became something, that I understood, that probably would be able to change my life. And, I started taking it seriously.
And when you say taking it serious, I mean you were getting training, going to camp, and that was your dedicated sport at that point, or?
I actually like Texas football. So,
Yeah.
in the neighborhood, we football people. So it's hot outside, and for a while, sometimes for a while we could play for free, and then they start trying to charge us to go to the recreation. So, we end up staying outside longer than going inside with the AC. But we play football outside all day. But after that, it was just dedication, and somebody I went to camp. Actually, I went to Liberty camp when I was 15. Randy Dutton was the coach of Liberty, assistant, I think, maybe assistant head coach at the time. I went down there, and the first time I heard of AAU basketball was in 1996. And, that summer was, changing my life. I had to, do some things to catch up. Man, I made a lot of sacrifices, and I, ended up at Oak Hill, Virginia for William Campbell in Loruna, South Virginia. I was there for a year. Summer of '97, I went to Adidas camp. I did 5-star. I did, a lot of things that summer. I made USA basketball. I ended up going to Oak Hill Academy. Played on a tough team. '97, '98, that changed my life. That lets you know that type of stuff. It changed my life. So, and from there, like Virginia was my molding pot, for the game. But before that, I was a football player.
How did Oak Hill change your life? In which way?
For one, there's nothing around it. And Texas is a city. I'm from San Antonio. I lived in Dallas a long time, so via Dallas as well. But Mount Wilson is nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? You pull up, and the first time I went there was over the summer, and I walked in the gym. And again, I'm from Texas, so I know about Steven Jackson. I'm in the Midwest. I knew about Rod Strickland. At the time, Jerry Stackhouse and all that. And I walked in the gym, and I'm like, are these the same people that I see on TV? And Coach was like, yeah, that's them. And so it really wasn't a hard decision for me to go to say I would want to attend there if they wanted me. So that was the hardest change, because you have to focus on basketball and education.
So how was your life before you got there? You said it changed your life. So did you go from somebody who was hanging out a lot to someone who now had no choice but to be home?
Well, no. I worked, what I'm saying? We didn't come from nothing. We made, something out of nothing type of thing. And it was just, I went from Dallas, I went to even a smaller town, Brookville, Virginia, and then I went to Mount Wilson. So I downsized twice. So I'm in culture shock. I'm in culture shock, man. Like woods and different animals. I wake up, I'm hearing chirping, squirrels, roadkill. You know what I'm saying? Your neighbor 5 miles, maybe your best friend. You don't have a bike, you don't have a car, maybe. These type of things. But there it was able for the chemistry of the players, and it taught a lot of things progressing for college. especially learning how to study and gaining chemistry with the teammates that I had at that time.
And when did you go to Oak Hill? Was that after your third year or your second or fourth year in high school from Dallas?
Nah, man. It's not a fourth year school. So I went there in 97 to 99 as a sophomore.
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase the question. How many years did you do in high school? How many years of high school did you do in Dallas? And then you went to Oak Hill after that?
San Antonio.
San Antonio.
I did 1 year in Dallas, Texas, at W.T. White High School, North Dallas. I transferred in that summer, and I went to William Campbell in the Aruna, Brookneal, Virginia. So I played a half the season, because I had to sit out because I was a transfer. I played half the season, and then that was my big summer after that. So I was a sophomore still, playing in the summer of my sophomore year. I ended up going to Adidas and all those other camps.
So when did UVA actually come into your picture in terms of just acknowledge, like in Texas, I imagine you didn't watch or hear of UVA, but when did you actually hear of them and start paying attention?
When I moved to Virginia, actually, when I moved with my guardian at the time, the big UVA fan, so it was always on the TV. We went to some games over the summer. I actually met most of the guys at 15 in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Oh, cool.
Played with them when I was younger. So my radar came when I was a senior, pretty much. I'm sure I was being as a kid, like I was a Kentucky, Michigan fan all day. Right. I wanted to go to Michigan. That was one of my choices as a kid, like, if anything, But
Fab Five, right?
Time, man, what?
Yeah.
Everything golden. Yeah, so they came up, and then, after that, they recruited me. I allowed them to recruit me, and, just went from there.
And what was that recruitment like for you in terms of your narrowing your list and getting all settled?
They moved in my top 5 early because, like I said, I've already visited there. I've been there a lot of times. I've met most of the players. I was already kind of familiar, so it wasn't a whole lot of things they had to, exhibit to put on show for me. But, like I said, I actually went to USA Basketball in Moscow. And I walk into the tunnel and I see Bobby Gonzalez, and I heard Bubba. That's my nickname back in the day. And I looked, and I was like, nobody calls me that. And I looked, and it was Bobby Gonzalez. I was like, wow, they really want me.
That's awesome.
So just from that, he pretty much, Bobby stayed on me as much as the other schools did. But being in Virginia, we got to watch all the games on TV, local channel.
And you knew all the players, and obviously convenience. And somebody who just joined the pod, Willie Dersh, Weekend Willie. Appreciate you jumping on.
What? Willie?
Travis Watson.
No, man.
What's up, man?
That's my guy. They didn't tell me this was happening, brother.
Well, when they said
good, man.
Well, Fresh sent me a link, and he said, Travis is on. You want to join? I said, Travis, I stopped everything. What's up?
That's my guy, man. That's my guy. I'm out here chilling. They caught me. They caught me on the string, man. they got me.
Man, you still look like you're in college, man. You're looking good.
I appreciate it, man. That's just a lot of rest. A lot of rest, a couple of years of retirement. That's it. That's what I do. But I like that view, though.
We're on we moved to the other side of the city, so we're on the Jersey side view now. So yeah, we get the nice view of the city.
So and your recruitment, when did you actually get to meet Willie Dersh?
I didn't meet Willie until I got to campus.
Okay.
I didn't meet him until I got to my official visit.
And how was that?
Travis, is it true that Weekend Willie was the man on grounds? They say he was.
Man, look, man, let me tell you, man. Willie, if you remember anything I was close, wasn't I? Set picks and everything. You understand? No, that was the man. That was the man. The love of the life, man. He looked out. Like I said, that was my freshman year, and I had a great time. Great time with him. Great time.
I was gonna say, was there a welcome to the ACC moment for you, like a college basketball moment, practice, games? Was there a moment you're like, oh, here, this is different than? I mean, Oak Hill is a big powerhouse program, but was there a step up even from that?
Yeah, man, practice. Pete Gillen practice. That was welcome to college for me, man. Because a lot of times you walked away when not breathing. Stick them 17s in the middle of practice, Willie. Do you remember those?
Of course. Always. That's always the toughest, the adjustment to college.
Don't make that. Do 3 more. Like, what is this?
The thing about Travis was he was so much ahead in terms of his footwork and his and the skill that he had with his hands. I think that let's just say the coaches gave a little flexibility if he was dragging on the sprints because how ahead of everybody he was in the post and his touch on his hands. That's for sure. He didn't. He never lost to Chris Hunter though. He never lost to Chris Hunter.
And what do you remember about him coming in, a young Travis Watson, starry-eyed, coming on grounds for you, Willie? What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I just remember that point in your career when you're realizing your sun is setting a little bit, that you're looking at the future, and at that time it was Majestic, Roger, and Travis. I just knew that these guys were going to have a good core and they were going to be able to win some games. And I think it was that next year after I graduated when guys jumped out and were really highly ranked, right, Trav?
Yeah, both. After you left, both of those years when we went to
that year.
The NCAA.
That's
and
right.
Then the next year we went like as high as fourth in the nation.
That's right. Yeah. So it was all the seeds that I planted, right, guys, for that next generation.
Oh, absolutely.
Like all seriousness though, like I was young and I just came in and my thing, I wanted to earn their respect. So they didn't give it to me. I think I earned it. So, a lot of times, maybe I did lack, but I heard it later on. And so that was more so I respected out of them. And also, like he said, if he knew he was ready to go, he understood. And like I said, we all played our part at that time. And I loved him from day one until he left. So, those are some good days.
You also could tell right away. Because as you become more of a senior or a fourth year, little things mean a lot. Like, so you could tell right away that Trav was a team player.
Right.
And I think the fact that, that leadership or that, he would listen to you. If I remember having conversations with him and he didn't have like a, I'm too good for anybody kind of mentality. So, I knew that was going to, help him out in his career post college as well.
Man,
Trav,
I mean, like, come, go ahead.
So before I ask the next question, can you guys just describe what a 17 is? Because a lot of the fans may not know that it's a sprint.
Man, that's going line up on the sideline to sideline, 7 touch. So 17, half court, and you just go. And we had to and they were timed. So like guards had maybe y'all had a minute.
Yeah, I just saw my 11-year-olds were doing it. They had to finish in like 105 or 110. And then I was trying to remember because I was having like PTSD remembering like how much time we had to finish ours. I feel like it was almost like 45, 50 seconds.
No, it was a good minute. It was a good minute. It was a minute fast though, brother. Still
yeah, a minute's
quick.
Fast. A minute's fast.
Minute's still fast, but I think it was.
And
like
if you didn't make it, what would happen? If you didn't make it, what would happen?
Everybody had to run it again. Everybody.
Run again.
Wow.
Run again. That's one thing we did. We ran. And nobody was trying to run again.
Of course not. How many times? Do you remember the most amount of times and why you had to run multiple times, like several times in a row, because somebody didn't make it?
Willie wasn't there for me. I don't think we ran too many extra times, Willie, because the freshmen, all the freshmen that came in, we was on point with keeping up with the running. Like we were skinny, we was fast, everybody was quick. And I this one episode was with J.C. Mathis. J.C. Mathis come, we had to do a couple straight, and they didn't reduce the number we had to do until you made it. So I'm just like, you know, that's like 10 to 12. You know how you feel after all that, I know.
So when you came into UVA and you're making that decision, was part of it that you had a relationship with you know, Roger and some of the other guys that you wanted to build something from scratch, or were you just kind of taking a shot in the dark here?
No, actually, I committed kind of early. I already knew I was coming there. Actually, I think Majestic committed before I did. I was there on the day Majestic Matt committed.
Okay.
I don't know who knew that, but I was there that day, and I think right when I went back to school, I already had committed. So, you know, it wasn't too much going on. But I knew I played Majestic that summer when I realized who it was that signed. Then I got excited.
All right.
Me and my teammate at the time, Ron Slade, we played them in North Carolina, and it was him and Kenny Satterfield on the team. And we was up at halftime, and me and Ron Slade was giving them the business, and they just went off, and they came back and won. And when I remember that one specific game, my guy at that time was like, "That's who's coming." I was like, "Wow!" And then that's when I realized he was a McDonald's All-American. That's great to have anywhere. I played with Steve Blake. He was a great point guard. You know, also my junior year at Oak Hill, I played with Taj Hawkins. He went to IUPUI at the time. So, you know, point guard can change your life.
Yeah, people don't realize his injuries really hurt his career, but he was going to be one of the greats. I mean, the writing was kind of on the wall. He's going to take over the program.
Are you talking about Majestic?
Yeah, Majestic. Yeah, Majestic.
It's funny. His dad coached Ty a little bit as a really young kid. That's actually how I got involved with Riverside Church. Where was Majestic playing for Riverside at that time? Travis, do you remember what team he was playing for?
When we played
against them? Yeah.
I don't remember the team.
Okay.
You know, he might remember better than I did who it was at the time. But you know, I just remember we played him that summer, and it went crazy.
So what was his game like at that time? I mean, I remember him as obviously a pass for Majestic. You know, for fans that don't even remember, just remember him being injured. Like, what is your memory of him coming in? What was some of his strengths?
Man, one, like, see the floor, great hands, to see everything. He came in a couple times, especially our freshman year. North Carolina changed the tempo. I mean, and he sees the floor very well. I mean, he's fast. He knows how to change. You know, he knew how to change speed at a young age. And just by getting better naturally, that was going to happen because he had the work ethic. And we all had it at that time, to be honest. But I felt that he was a huge piece for the future at that time, because also Donna was still there. That still would have, you know, helped his improvement, you know, his development, his sophomore year. So that would have been 2 years hooping with Donald. Man, like that was a huge loss for us, man.
So, Trav, when you got to grounds in your first practice, what were your expectations? Were you anticipating playing a lot your first year? Or did you think this spot is mine? Or did you think, okay, maybe I'll come off the bench and get some playing time?
I mean, I don't even really remember. But I didn't. Like I said, they never told me I was going to start, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was never said the job is yours. You know, when I realized, and when we went over everything, I knew that they was down scholarships and it was coming off a 7-man year roster. And it was a building year for everybody, so it was a lot of opportunity for me to come in and start. at that time. Like I said, you know, Colin was still there. Willie was there. Jason was coming in with me. Stephon Don also. So there's a couple other guys that would have fought for that position. But like I said, I just went in and I was headhunting, and I was going for everything. And you know, at the end of the day, you know, like, you know, my awareness for the ball and getting those rebounds, it worked. And they started us playing with the freshmen all together, and then they just started mixing up the teams on in practice, and I was finding myself at the 5 spot a lot, and that's where I started at. The 5, like, well, okay, this is what we do. So, you know, I just ran with it.
And was there someone you modeled your game after in terms as a kid coming up?
I mean, not really. You know, like I said, I want to be a football player. Like, if you want to talk hands, I like Jerry Rice. I was Shannon Sharp football, Joe Montana, 49ers fan. I was a huge football fan. So more so with that than people saying, hey, you play like this person.
Right.
So that was my aggression, you know, my aggression for the ball at the end of the day. You know, I was coming up with it.
So you come in, Pete Gillen starting this basic program. I don't know if you call it from scratch. You said you had like Josh Hart walking on and playing and all of that. What was your recollection of him? Because people now look back and say, "Oh, he was calling timeouts like crazy. Didn't know what was going on." But what were your thoughts as a first year bright-eyed kid coming in trying to change the game? How was that for you?
Oh man, I mean, you know, like I said, I'm a very coachable guy. I was a very coachable kid, man. I mean, you know what? And again, it goes with your teammates, and it goes with the leadership. And again, like a lot of things, maybe there's some things I blocked out that didn't reach me, but maybe Willie was able to tell me, or Donna or Roger or my teammates was able to, you know, to let some things register to me. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, when we did call a lot of timeouts. We was, you know, left with a lot of timeouts in good situations of the game. What do we do? You know, get the ball to the shooter, man. No problem. TJ set the screen. You know, I set the screen, you know, get the shooter open, and, you know, go from there. But he was great.
Atlanta X? Is that the play? Atlanta X?
I can't remember any of the names. Any of the names.
Fresh always says there was no place.
Guys, it's a joy. Thank you. I got to jump back to the desk, but I just want to say, since I got you,
appreciate you, baby.
Okay, the voting for the dunk thing, we didn't address this. I lost 90% to 10% to draft, right?
You're right.
You're aware of this, right? The North Carolina dunk, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was hitting me up. Travis was there. Travis was at that dunk. So when we talk about a historical moment of a UVA beating at UNC, T-Dub, I got 10%. I should have got a little more than 10% of the vote.
I mean, the disrespect on that dunk, you did it for all the years, for all the fans. That's what we talked about.
They don't appreciate it.
By that time,
they don't appreciate it.
And by that time, I wasn't playing as much. So, and I'm white. You got to think about these things. I wasn't in the best shape.
Yes.
The fact that I got up there and dunked, you know what I'm saying? Like the fact that I got up there and dunked.
Absolutely.
And
hung
on it.
And got a tee
in
the Dean Dome.
Was I on the court? Was I on the court at the time? I might have been on the court right behind you.
I don't know, man. We can go back. Honestly, I was like, I should not. I remember thinking to myself, you should not dunk this. But then I was like, why not? I'm that guy right now.
TW can bring it up real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bring that up on your computer.
The funny thing for those of you, for the fans who watch this, or the loyal diehard UVA fans that would know, back then was the ref that gave me the tech was Larry Rose. I think was his name. You remember him?
Remember that guy? Yes.
Oh, yeah, but he would favor people, and he would be on some stuff sometimes. Anyway, he would always like to mess with me. And so he gave me the tech, and I went over and I was just like, yo, Larry. I was like, oh, what are you doing? And he goes, you shouldn't have hung on that. I was like, Larry, that was my first tech in my career, I think. Like, I can't even believe it.
In life. He was going so fast off of one leg.
You ready? I'm gonna share my screen.
Just think, though, Will. Just think, we wouldn't be talking about this dunk if you didn't get that tee.
That's true.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
And Willie, if I had any idea about technology, I would have like created like 1,000 accounts and voted for you.
But you know what,
Thank you.
I was just gonna say that the voting is probably a reflection of the demographics.
Of the age. It's the age.
Right. Who
that
vote
was a
on this
pretty
thing,
good
right?
dunk. That was.
I mean, this one's in traffic.
All
right, here we go.
So let me say. So he's 6'8" at least, right?
Yeah, he's about 7'3" wingspan.
Come on,
6'7".
Right. So here we go.
6'7" dunking in
Let's
traffic
go.
is the equivalent of 5
Trav,
white with no
talk
one near you.
Talk us through it.
Come
Trav.
on. Oh, come on.
He took his time. He was praying.
Arms up in the
He
air.
was praying.
Hey, look, he dabbed
There
somebody.
you are.
hard.
That was
Did they show? Oh, they didn't show it.
yeah, you did. So Trav was on the bench. Your first person you went over was to Trav.
See, Trav's my boy.
I represent. He knew
Man.
what was going down. We was winning. We was winning by like 20.
Yeah.
Well, watch
Yeah.
Will get his steps at half court. That's my favorite part.
I mean, I think people don't realize the time and place on this one in terms of disrespectfulness to UNC and where we were in history.
We had lost how many? It was 18. Was it 18 consecutive seasons at games at UNC?
Wait.
Right. It was the first UVA.
Hold up.
See?
Why were we playing 4
Look
on
at
5?
Gillen. Look at Gillen. Pete was like, "Wait, guys, wait, stop! Everyone, calm down." And he's probably trying to call a timeout, but we didn't have any.
And we're out of
We
timeout.
probably
So.
didn't have any.
We were out of
We probably didn't
timeouts,
have
and we were
any.
up 20.
Oh,
We didn't have it. We didn't have any timeouts probably left. Probably none at all. That's a nice dunk by Hunter though.
That was a very nice dunk. But maybe like 60-40. Come on. All right, guys.
Hey, Twitter skews young. You know that. Come on now.
I know. I love you all. I'm going to jump now, guys. Talk to you later.
We appreciate you.
Bye, guys.
Take care, Will.
I'll stop the sharing that one. That was awesome for Willie stopping.
Man, that's awesome, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, that's cool. So we're back. We're back your first year. Pete Gillen's calling all these crazy timeouts, and then you guys go on. You know, Willie leaves. You guys go on this crazy run, and Roger talked about this a lot on the podcast with that game against Gonzaga.
Oh man,
what do you remember about that?
I just remember like a lot of big games. I was in like they give me like 3 fouls and make me turn the energy down, you know. And what's the point guard?
Dan DeCal.
Dan DeCal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had a good game, man. Can't take nothing. I mean, he was making stuff, and it was just like, you know, what do you do? So if you can't do nothing, you just hoping. I mean, it was a good game. It was actually, you know, like I say, it was one of the ones that really hurt it. You know what I'm saying? Because not that we underestimated them, but you know, it was still that, you know, it was a tough loss. Yeah.
I mean, we talked about how that was almost like the turning point of the two programs, right? J.C. Mathis up 3, front end of 1-and-1 comes out, and that changes. You know, like then they come down and hit the 3. That changes everything because like you win that.
I think I fouled out with an offensive foul.
Right, you fouled out. Yeah, that's right.
Something crazy.
And so it was like, you know, Gonzaga moves on. We had an upset. I think Middle Tennessee State was the next round, and there was nobody else in the way of a Final Four. It was what it felt like. And then, you know, Virginia kind of, we get some Majestic gets hurt again. Things go down, and then we go through that lull that we talk about. But that game was incredible.
A lot of things changed after that happened.
Yeah, what I was going to say, what do you remember after that? Because, like, you know, Roger came on and talked about all the different things and how it's hard for him. What was it like for you at the time for what you were going through?
I mean, for me, like, you know, like I say, I went out and put everything on the floor. So I just knew the magnitude of the NCAA. You know, we went out the first round. Like, you know, I like to win, and it's a loss. And you know, like I said, you're not the underdog in that game. You're supposed to win the game. So you know, at the end of the day, I mean, they got the game. I didn't really feel too much, like it didn't carry with me, but I knew it allowed me to take the next year and add on to how to get back there. You know what I'm saying? To continue to build. And that's, like I said, the start of the next year, we was coming out rocking. We came out rocking because we was hungry. We knew what that felt like. But, like I say, things do happen.
Yeah, what was that off season like for you? Did you put in a little extra knowing that that's how your season ended?
Man, every off season I was in the gym. I was in Charlottesville every summer.
That's
every
awesome.
summer. After my freshman year, I come into college at 220, and actually, I can tell you a funny story. I was talking with he's my big homie, Harold Jameson.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Clemson on my recruiting visit, and so we played 5-on-5, and I think I lift a lot of weights at Oak Hill. And he's huge. I don't know if you remember Harold Johnson.
Yeah, I do.
I couldn't post up in the paint. And again, like, he's playing power forward. I'm like, I'm not going to get any PT coming in.
Right.
So that allowed me to understand what was going to happen to me when I got in the ACC, because you had big guys like Jason Colley and Alvin Jones, Vittoretta and Shoemaker. There was some big guys that was already in the league that before I got there that had muscle. And so every summer I tried to stay back and add on to it just to get my muscle. So I ended up getting to like 245, 260. Wow,
that's incredible. And how did that pay off for you on the court? Did you feel an immediate difference, or did it take some adjusting to sort of almost like a new body?
No, I mean, it didn't take any adjustment. At the time we had Lorenzo Rivers as our strength conditioning coach, and he was magnificent. Like I said, we stayed in the gym all summer. So from my freshman to my sophomore year, I gained a good 15 pounds of muscle. And he did that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we focused on my legs and getting low and being strong and explosive. And that allowed me to, to rebound and get a lot of those rebounds real quick, because we were working hard. I was in the gym 2 times a day.
Right.
Just doing stuff, just doing everything.
So that the following year after Gonzaga, I guess this is your third year. You guys do that year. You don't make the NCAA.
No, we go to NIT.
Yeah, the NIT, and then Roger decides to leave. He hurts his shoulder. He decides to leave. What was that process for you? Was that on your mind too? Were you thinking maybe I should go to the league, or was that is it even on the radar?
No, it wasn't on the radar. Like, it wasn't on the radar for me. Like, I was coming there to go 4 years. My mom, that was something my mom really wanted me to have, for us. And so I was, that was something that was pressed. And if the talk ever came up, it would have got addressed, but it really didn't until I was a senior. But it sucks when anybody leaves, because you feel like a family, and he played a huge role. And even from him coming in and just working hard, because he didn't start,
right,
he ended up starting later on over Willie. And so from there he ran, and every year he just, continued to got, I think the year he went to the league that year, he got like 30 in the NCAA and finished with 19 averaging for the whole season. So that's a huge piece to take away.
Yeah.
For any team, respectively. And he didn't start as a point guard. So for him to make that crossover was tremendous for us, and even for us to do what we did, because he still had to learn himself going and, being an off guard at the time, but coach wanted him to keep the ball in his hand when we had Pete Gillen. So right. It was a lot of situational things that was going on while we was out there.
So
his junior year.
Yeah. So when he decides to leave, what was the mood like? Especially, I'm just thinking in terms of for you, you're coming into your last season. You want to make a big splash. You're probably thinking, might make a big fourth year. What was the mood like for you? What were your expectations?
I mean, it's a brother gone. Like, you're always going to be sad. Everybody's going to be sad. But I knew I had to, get back in the gym. You know what I mean? Like it's more, more expectations being expected out of you. You know, I'm not a forceful person with the game, but after my junior year, I stayed in the at school all summer and worked again. I lost a lot of weight and got lighter. And even did a lot of guard drills over the summer with Coach at the time, Alexis Sherrod. We worked out every day. I was just working, just work. Like I say, dealing and accepting the new transfers at the time coming in, and everybody getting older, stuff like that. So I just dealt with the time.
And we had Devin Smith on a couple weeks ago, and he talked about you coming in and him sort of like watching you and learning from you and how you carry yourself. What do you remember about him and him coming in?
He can hoop. Like that's my brother too, man. Like we've had some special talent, man. Like a lot of individuals that really had a successful career coming after college. Maybe they get a big rave about in college, but had successful professional careers after. But I knew he was special. He had a touch just like Chris Williams around the basket, but fortunately enough, I believe in him shooting because he really could shoot.
He could.
And so he came into his own, and he went with it. Very humble, always been humble, and it just been that way ever since I've known him. And it shows in his game. He's an awesome team player, as well. So he just came in. He fit very well, and even with his own accolades, where he was coming from, like he wasn't a slouch. Yeah. So what he was bringing to the table for us, fit well, and it benefited for itself.
So your fourth year obviously doesn't go as you have liked it and planned. What were you thinking during that year when you're not going back to the NCAA tournament? Things are going now. Are you thinking pro wise? Like what am I doing for my pro career, or are you still just trying to salvage the season?
I was trying to. You still have games to play. You still have. We was able to play 2 more games. Like,
right.
As a player, you try to play as long as possible, no matter what it is.
Right.
And even if it's, NIT, it's just somebody's always watching.
Right.
And so, and again, that's an opportunity to be and still play in front of a lot of people, no matter how you want to downgrade it or not. You know what I'm saying? It's still something for singers to have the opportunity to play again.
Keep going.
And be looked at. Yeah, it is what it is. But that's what I was focused on. We had 2 games. We had 2 games to go. Hopefully, and we end up winning against Brown, I think, that year. And then we lost to St. John in New York. That year, my senior year, in the second round. So,
and
for
then,
me, it was just.
I was gonna say, then you get your degree, and then what is your post UVA career? How did that kick off? Because did you do the NBA workout? Did you do training camps and summer league or anything like that?
I
don't remember.
Excuse me. Go ahead.
No, I just don't remember hearing. I remember thinking you're going to get drafted, but I wonder what was your process like for all that.
I did tryouts like anybody else. I didn't get invited to Chicago at the time when they had Chicago count. I did go to Portsmouth count at the time, and it was in the middle of my final exams. So it's like the horrible time. I'm literally driving there after my final exam, to play on the game day.
Wow.
Crazy stuff.
Wow.
But just, I went down there. I think I had a good showing there. And again, I just wanted to, just to hoop, man. I tried out, I went to a lot of workouts, Memphis, a couple other ones. Actually, I went to Memphis. Mike Curtis was there at the time.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Actually, he was the strength coach there. He was actually doing my workout. So that was the UVA connection at that time for me there in Memphis. And I did it, and again, you wait for that draft day to come, and your name don't get called. It's still like, what are you gonna do after all these years you put in and all this work?
Right.
And success is is spelled out for different people. But mine was to continue to play basketball. So and I was just chasing it, and I was able to to come to Europe at that time.
So how did you decide on that? Was there a thought like with your agent or whatever, like try to come back and try to get in the league, or were you thinking Europe is a good path for me to make some bread and make a good life? Or
I mean, like, I mean, at the time, it's like you go off what, during the draft, while you work out for people, they end up telling you what they think about you, how the draft goes. It's up to you to take what you hear and process it, whether it's good or bad,
Right.
And and I just took that knowing that I was good enough to play professional. It doesn't, because if I'm not getting drafted, it doesn't make me not, I'm not still a professional guy. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So
exactly.
I just wanted to eat good, man. Like I was ready to play. I watched I think the D League at the time was just fresh, and my former high school teammate Kevin Lyle played in it. I think they had it on sometimes some of the games, or they had it on TV sometimes. You got to see how they was living and stuff like that. And I didn't want that for me.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to see something different. My major's anthropology, and the world sounded good, so I went with it.
That's awesome. Yeah, we were talking about that with Devin Smith, and just like we don't understand sometimes, like people don't look at that as a viable option. They just have the NBA in their sights because they know that, but there's such an incredible opportunity overseas, and people don't take advantage. Mm-hmm. And how has it been? You've now, double-digit career overseas. How do you look at your pro career in hindsight?
I mean, in hindsight, I think I've had a great career. I've been able to play at the highest level. I've been able to play everywhere I wanted. Even with the injuries and that, I was excited. I'm excited about the things I've done. I got to see 5-6 different countries. I've got
Absolutely.
to visit most of all of Europe. Just from playing. Learn a little bit of each, country, language, this and that, and stuff like that. So, a lot of valuable lessons, that to take with you on the way. But it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah. So, what advice would you give for that player that is now coming out of UVA, making that choice? Do I do the G League route and go and try to make the NBA, or do I go Europe? What would your advice be to someone? I know, because the example I give is Anthony Gill. He says hi, by the way. Yeah, and he's a big fan of yours. Obviously, and listens to you. So I'm just curious, what do you tell a guy like that?
I mean, if I can get what you've been, let's just say, if you can make a good living at home, stay at home. I mean, you have your family you can play in front of. And if you can make a good living in Europe, come to Europe. I mean, again, it's different. There's different optics that come with it, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at expectations. It's like real reality. And there's a lot of guys before me, sat me down and just let me know. That's what helped me get my concentration and my focus to be consistent and know that they'll ship you off if you don't keep yourself polished or be that man or play both sides of the floor. Like,
right.
Very few often is a player brought over just to play offense.
Right.
And while offense is all well, if you get 20, give up 20, that's 0.
And it is the game. I mean, we know from the NBA and the guys coming over from overseas, but what is the game like? How does the game differ from the game stateside to what you've been playing over the last 10 some years?
I mean, the biggest thing that probably just normal athletes would know is the 3-second rule. No help, like NBA, that's help man defense.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that over here, so you might be the guy real super quick and get your foot to take off, and over here you do that, somebody's there taking a charge, so they're waiting on you. So, sometimes it's a big adjustment for some, for guards and sometimes even big men as well to come out here. But, again, it's great talent out here as well being developed. And as you see, that does come to the NBA and show out.
Yeah, who are some of the guys that have made it who you've played against overseas that have come into the NBA and made a splash?
Oh man, like let's see. I mean, the first guy that I played was back in the day. I don't know if he's still playing. From Italy, Bagnani, Andre
Oh yeah.
Bagnani.
Uh-huh.
He was one I played against. Let me see another one. Bellinelli was my teammate at Fortitudo when I was in Italy. Gallinari was my teammate. Ed Scola played at Victoria Tau at the time. I played against him. He was super tough. Stephalosha was a kid at the time. So a lot of them like was kids. More guards than anything, but you know, I came through some.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I think the rules and requirements there are different, right? They can play pro like 16, 15, 16, whatever age they're ready. And then what about looking back on your overall career now that you're, retired? What is there anything you would change about, your style growing up playing things for the young kids now? Yeah,
man, what would I change? Man, I was shooting a lot of threes.
Learn how to shoot threes.
Man. I mean, it's not about learning how to shoot threes. It was just something like I never did. You know what I'm saying? Like if you just say like something you go back, I would just shoot more. Myself. You know what I mean? I'm not saying like, individually, but in team, in the team concept, I would take a lot more shots than swinging the basketball and handing it off. That's
all right. Yeah, because when I think about that, I mean, I'm thinking your game was like Junior Burrow, like incredible footwork post game. We haven't really had that since. It's like a rare commodity now. You're right. Everyone's shooting threes. Obviously, threes more than two, but that's pretty cool.
The game has changed. I mean, you need one good big guy just to go down there and get you an easy bucket. And,
absolutely.
These days, it's unfortunate if it's not happening.
So we do this thing where we show some photos and get your reaction. So I'm gonna jump into that. Here, I'll share my screen. I'm gonna get out of this Willie Dersh one, and we'll start. Over here. Oh, yeah, let me turn this one off, and then we'll start with. This is your first year coming in your roster. You got Chris Williams, Donald Hand, yourself, Adam Hall, Roger Mason, Keith Reel, Majestic Map, Willie Dersh, Stephen Dondon, Colin Ducharme, Jason Rogers, Chesley Watson, Josh Hare. I was going to say, when I read those names, which ones stick out in terms of memories, thoughts?
I mean, all of them, man. Like it was. I mean, Roger was my roommate my first year. Donald for me was he was my guy on my recruit, my host on the recruit. Adams from Texas. Me and Roger played AAU basketball before I got there. I mean, the rest of them, like I said, Chesley, me and him, we always laughed about having the same last name. My first 9 games, I had to play with a T on my jersey.
That's right. That's right.
So they were like, Watson, which T? I was like, okay. And then, things happened and they took it off. So, I mean, it was a lot of good memories with everybody, man. Like, it was a good roster.
Now, and if we look at, and here are the results. Here's the schedule. We talked. I think we went through a lot of this with Roger. Yeah, this is your first year. This Duke game, you guys played a great game, overtime, 100-109. And then
that was our first at University Hall.
Yeah, that was at U-Hall. And then at Duke, you guys, 86, 106, we lose.
That was my first. Yeah, that was our first ACC game coming out. Oh right. Man, I think I had like 16. I had like a crazy double.
A good game. So what do you remember about playing? Like at Duke is the one most guys remember going into Cameron the first time. What do you remember that for yourself?
I don't. I actually enjoyed playing at Duke. Though it was always, a problem. a problem. I always enjoyed playing. I like playing road games, to be honest. It's crazy though when they get loud and you don't hear anything, and then it gets quiet as a mouse in that thing, and you hear Coach K talk. You're like, wow, it's crazy.
That's cool.
I enjoyed it.
I mean, for you, like you're saying, they always would get you foul trouble. I remember thinking we didn't have a great record on the road, and a lot of it felt like it was the refs, but maybe it was just, I don't know, style of play. But what do you remember about that? Like being road woes. Do you remember that? Like it was always a thing during your career.
I mean, at one point, sometimes if we didn't start right, or a lot of times I remember, sometimes timeouts have been called.
Right.
So,
timeouts.
You don't know how you're going to start, but it's not his fault if he's doing a coach's job of calling these timeouts. It's it's how we started.
Right.
And just I think a lot of times it's just how we started on the road. That was something that we had to get better with, as we grew together as a group.
Yeah, obviously hindsight 2020, but what we've gone over it with a bunch of Pete Gillen guys now, and they everybody talks about communication being an issue in terms of people didn't know their roles and didn't know what was expected of them. Does that ring true for you as well? Did you feel that, a sense of that?
No, not about me, because I'm a big man. Like,
yeah, you get all the minutes.
You can throw me in a Dennis Rodman role, just get defense, go set a great screen, rebound. And that's what they talked a lot about me more so. And it wasn't really about, like, score 20 points or you got to have 15 points today. No, that wasn't that at all for me.
All right.
That I can remember. More so, I knew certain things was going to come with my hustle.
Right.
So,
but did you see for your teammates? Did you see that struggle though? Like you had, Roger was your roommate, and he talked about he wanted to transfer after that first year, but like the struggle of getting minutes and going through, and was that something that you witnessed yourself?
I mean, I wanted to transfer too. I think all kids at a moment in time had that thought, but I did that myself actually. I did too, but. It was just
what talked you out of it? Your mom talked you out of it?
More so my mom, like she was like, that's not what you do. Like you're not gonna run from it. And I didn't understand a lot of things that was going on because I'm seeing these underrated players not playing, or they should be out there to allow me to get a feel for other things. And that wasn't happening. And I understood that at a young age. But more so me leaving, I would have to start a whole new cycle over, and I didn't want that. And the chemistry that I made with the guys there was incredible. And I didn't want to leave that. And a lot of my extended family was in Virginia at the time, and I just stayed with it.
I mean, did you guys talk about that together as a team? Like, I'm thinking about leaving, or no? Did you keep that to yourself?
Mine wasn't like a big issue. Mine didn't take no long time. Like I was like super pissed. Excuse me, French. I was just super mad, man, and I just wanted to go. It didn't matter where. I just wanted to get out of there, and then it just came back. It came back around.
Was it the losing?
Like I said, all that was factors.
It's just the losing that got to you?
That I just come from Oak Hill. Yeah. Look, I just come from winning the national championship, man.
Right.
I mean, like, what is this? I mean, and like I say, not pointing fingers, so we all just gotta do our job. I just, I wanted to dip too myself.
Right.
I wanted to go myself. And like I say, I'm 18. You don't know. You're doing what they're telling you to do. Not so much it's just good for your own well-being. Then it was for the team, and I did it for the team instead of more so my own well-being, because more so people would categorize me as a center than as a power forward.
Right.
And I'm a power forward. I mean, I've seen all the the sayings about what they think.
And then here's the second year that you go through. You guys go on a crazy run.
Yeah, hold on.
Beginning. Oh yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say you guys went on this crazy run here. Win streak number 4 Wake is your first loss. And you guys are high. You guys beat Tennessee. They were number 4. Yeah, there was. This was like you were top 10. This is what you were talking about earlier with Willie, like really turning it on. Now, what was the mood like at this point? Were you guys like feeling good? Everything's going right, or were you guys heads down?
No, I mean, like I say, like from what I just remember, I just know we was in the gym a lot.
Yeah.
And everybody wanted to get better. If they was at school or away, and what I understood, Majestic hurt his knee away from school,
right.
So or wherever he did it at. We all were trying to get in that mode to get back to what we knew and what happened. So that was an amazing feeling. And that's, again, any team might capitalize off that. And plus, we should have, I think, after my freshman year, we should have been there.
Right.
I mean, we finished number 2 in the conference. We beat North Carolina twice.
Yeah.
We were decent, but I understand the blue blood mentality.
Yeah, you come in. I mean, the one
we
weird
the Final Four that year.
Right. And this is the Gonzaga year, right? This is that bracket that you should have been in that Final Four.
This year. Okay, this is my second year.
Yeah, this is your second year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you guys have anything stick out to you in that year when you go back trip down memory lane, get the big win, Duke.
Like we was beating like Maryland, Wake Forest back-to-back games, and like NC State, like even playing at NC State is a tough, especially at that time. Like,
RBC Center.
Man, they had some tough dudes down there in the paint, man. The big dude, let me think, I can remember his name. Damon Thornton, Ron Kelly. That's some big dudes down there. It was really tough to play down there.
And then I'm just going to go into a few images here. Here's this one.
I think that's after that Duke one.
Yeah, this is after the Duke win. And you guys are on the scores table, I think. What do you remember about that night?
It was amazing. It was amazing. Right after we won, like they rushed the court, and it was like, "Where do you go?" And I just followed Adam because I was close to Adam, so I just went wherever Adam went, and I was there with him. And so that was an amazing night, man. And then I think we had another big win after this too. So it was just like, back to back, adrenaline going.
It was on at that point. Yeah. And then here's another picture. That's literally where I was going. The answer 4 is on the feet. I love that's my favorite shoe. Favorite shoe we wore. Oh my God. So you got Donald Hand, Roger Mason, and yourself right here in this picture in the huddle. And you got your Iverson.
The picture too.
Iverson's on. My question was literally that you guys go from Reebok, and then you've had And One, you've had, obviously everyone's done Nike Oak Hill thing. So what were your thoughts on the gear back then for Virginia?
Oh man, I mean Reebok, they upped it when they started giving us stuff from like Allen Iverson inspired.
Yeah.
Like, the gear started getting baggy, and the shoes Reebok was sending, and I love these shoes. Those are the best shoes that they gave for me.
Yes.
For my feet. Other than that, I wasn't trying to wear any other ones, and I think I finished my year out playing only in those. And one wasn't great. I was spraining my ankle in the trail free wells. We had these other shoes. The gear was okay, but the shoes was horrible. And then, graduation. So 2 years Air One, 2 years Reebok.
The velour
the velour.
The velour suit.
Did we get a velour? No, we didn't get a velour, I don't think. Did we get a velour?
I think your last year you got a velour And One And here you go. Here's
good.
the photo.
Oh man.
Headband game.
Yeah.
What went into the choice of headband that year?
Oh man.
It looked tough.
You know,
I'm not gonna lie. It looked tough. It was different.
No, man. No, you just got to be tough, man. You just got to, be able. If you actually look on them, that would be my left eye swollen. I had stitches. I had stirrup strips, and it was almost like I wasn't supposed to play because my eye was fat. So
you threw the headband on.
Yeah. Well, Sue was like, "What would help you play?" Because I was afraid. I'm like, "This is my, my eye, my face already. Yeah. Like it's kind of." I can't really see, but I don't want to get brushed, super hard. And I said, if I can wear a headband, and let's just see how it feels. So I practiced in it a couple times, and then they let me play in it. But the headband, and one headband so small, I'm trying to keep the sweat out my. Oh man. I'm just trying to keep the sweat out my eyes and the stitches on my face so I can play the game.
Hey, I don't know. When I remember everyone made fun of those and one things, those uniforms. Like everybody can stand them. Yeah. Then there was like the and one mixtape that was the thing back then, and then we get the jersey, and then Pete Gillen's running running gun style or whatever, Atlanta X, no plays, whatever you want to call it. In that hindsight, I don't think they were that bad. Like they look kind of
the jerseys.
Yeah, the jerseys. People, I remember Virginia got all the grief for having this, but I'm like, it looks pretty clean to me. I don't know. Like,
I mean, it's clean as gonna get, man. You can't really do too much with the Virginia. I mean, I don't know what else they was gonna do, but I didn't really like the shirt part. The wide
it looked like a tee.
Part. Yeah, you felt restricted, but I mean, at the end of the day, okay. I just didn't like the shoes. Like I don't shoes no.
And then the jersey itself was like 30 pounds. I got Keith Jennifer somehow. I got it from him, and that thing weighs like 50 pounds. I don't know how you guys play with those.
But if you consider Keith Jennifer's weight,
I know that's what I'm saying. He was tidy. And then here's this next one I found. Travis Watson 2018 basketball skills camp.
Yeah, I was at home. Go ahead.
I was to say, how often do you do this? Is this an annual, or just whenever you get around that have the time to do a camp, you do it?
At that time, just came with a good friend, and we put that on. But these last couple of years, I've been, dealing with some stuff, and actually this year, this COVID stuff. So we've only been able to do it that year. But again, I look forward to doing things like this to give back to the kids.
That's awesome. Yeah, so we're this is going to be news to a lot of people. We're going to try to do a little online social distance training session in camp. Maybe we'll have you jump on for 5 minutes if you have the time.
Yeah.
I think Mark's going to host it. We're going to have Ty and Justin and some of the other guys jump in and just give like one drill, a couple minutes. We'll try to get all the kids on UVA fans a little workout.
Yeah,
we'll let you know on that one. And then here's the next one. This is like the infamous, I don't know if he's going to win the NBA Jam dunk contest thing, but got the answer fours are my favorite.
Told you. Well, they do something to your feet, man.
What do you remember about Adam Hall and his dunking ability? I mean, you had it too, but like, what were those practices like? What was he doing?
Not like that. No, Adam had like hops like people today do. Like everybody has hops like that now. So it's more frequent to see somebody of this nature do that at 6'6". And in practice, I mean, he did it a lot, but like more so like in the summer, the pickup game, when he can just take over and don't pass the ball and just do what. Oh man, I think some incredible athleticism from my brother, man. It's crazy. But this right here in game, he always goes for the box anyways.
Look at that. That's incredible. Like his forehead is at the rim. He's above the box.
I mean, when you have a teammate like with that type of jumping ability, you expect him to jump to the box.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it was me and somebody tell me the ball is too high, then I would say jump for the box. So that's why I'm throwing it.
That's amazing. I mean, that team, you guys were. I'd love to see the stats on how many dunks you guys averaged a game. That's definitely the most. Probably post Ralph Sampson in the style of play. There's a lot of dunks.
It comes with a great point guard.
Yeah,
underrated.
Absolutely.
Man,
Definitely
talked about more. I mean, because again, you know, rebound, outlet.
Right.
You know, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was gonna say, yeah, absolutely. Like, I feel like when we looked through that roster in the beginning, like talk about the lost generation you were talking about earlier, of hoops. So many underrated guys on that. Donald Hand is another one that is just like no one ever talks about how great he was. It's amazing to me.
Feisty on the ball, like could get up the court in like 2.1 seconds, like shown like that.
Yeah,
and, you know, again, even at his time, he was top 10 player as well there.
Exactly, he was, and we don't really hear his name, you know, talked about with the greats.
Why though?
I don't get it. Yeah, and I don't get it. It's really bizarre. Maybe we'll just have to start the trend and talk about him more. I guess.
I hope.
Put his name up more.
Do justice. Do justice. I mean, he's a ACC legend as a point guard in the ACC. I mean, what more do you have to prove?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of that thing we talked about where it's like maybe it's all of college sports, but there's a lot of fair weather fan. Like, you don't make the NCAA tournament. A lot of people don't see. You don't make those if you're in a lull for winning, and people just don't see it. It's kind of sad. Like, people don't come to games then when we're not winning, and people don't go to NIT games. People don't appreciate it unless you're in the tournament, which is like a, kind of a sad thing to do.
And some people get spoiled with winning.
Yeah.
Like they can't appreciate a good thing when they see it. And
right.
And I think at that time we did we did supply a good up tempo
style of basketball. Yeah. Why do you think?
Was it perfect?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't perfect.
I was going to say, what do you think went wrong during that Gillen era? If you obviously hindsight 2020, but when everybody's got their theory on like what happened, what would you say happened that didn't go right for Pete?
I mean, Pete is a great coach though, and at the end of the day, like we just all was a slot over. Everybody was a slot over. Like, I've seen places where people told me, "Oh, he's a 5,
right.
With a 4-man body." No, no. I should have played at the power forward position,
right,
as I done in my professional career, and had great success at doing that. But everybody played out of position, and we all try to do a great job at what was asked of us at that time. And so that made me at the 5. That made a smaller roster. But when you're having success, then you just go till the wheels fall off.
Right.
I think that's what happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of that, right? Because I guess you could say injuries definitely was a big part of it, but recruiting, I guess. I mean, it's tough to recruit that style at UVA, I imagine. I don't know.
I mean, if you're talking about recruiting, like, it's like who are you recruiting? Like your like I said, who are you bringing in to fill that that style? But also, I mean, his assistant at the time before I got there was Bobby Gonzalez. He left. He went to the NCAA. Tommy left. He went to the NCAA.
Right.
So I mean, I'm just saying, like, a player, coach, whatever you want to say, like, what is the problem?
Right. Hindsight 2020, obviously.
No.
Here's this
next. Could have been. I wish myself personally I had somebody 6'10" down there on the block.
Right.
I wish that myself. I've had that professionally, and it
changes the game.
It is what it is. I mean, because I know what I've always been capable of doing. Like, what I've done, what my team needed me to do to succeed. So whether that gets you a great realm of talked about, I wasn't in the game for that, but people respect the game, and that's all that matters.
Right. Here's this next photo. UMBC celebrating their win over Virginia. Where were you? Did you watch? What was it like for you to see this?
Oh man, I watched it. It was disheartening. And again, man, when you have the target on your back, and I've had seasons where the target on your back and you lose at the wrong time, that's a horrible feeling.
Yeah.
And at that time, more so than lost me knowing some of them guys, personally, my heart went out for them.
Yeah.
Because nobody want to be the first out, and also you think you're supposed to win, and everybody's there like you're winning, and it doesn't happen. But sometimes, some things sweet don't happen until it happens this way.
Yeah. Well, I remember thinking, like, what went wrong? I mean, did that go through your mind? Like, hey, what happened with Virginia? Did you reach out to anyone, talk about it, or?
I mean, I had discussions, but I mean, as a player, as a person, I wasn't trying to really depict what was going on.
Yeah.
Again, sometimes these type of things happen. Like it's a lot of people have never been to the championship.
Right.
And this is it's a championship game. Every game is a championship mentality game because that's what you're there for. You can't lose. And again, like that shocker in their head, let them know what focus that they brought the next time, and even greater. So, I didn't analyze it. I've lost, games being favored. I've lost, championships being favored, and, I know that feeling.
And then the reverse of that.
Hey, bittersweet.
Yeah, this Tony, for people listening, this Tony Bennett screaming with the scissors in his hand. What has your relationship been like with Coach Bennett?
I mean, I don't have a deep personal relationship, but I was around the team for a while, some years back, and I got to be around him, and I enjoyed everything about him. I love the things that he's done with the program. I was there around the time of Michael Scott ending and Brogdon freshman year and all that time.
Yeah,
but I love it. I love him. He's a great example for what he's doing.
And then the next one, this is in Minneapolis. Dev, Joe, Dev, and Malcolm's, in Minneapolis on the floor watching One Shining Moment. But where were you? What was your championship experience like? Where were you watching it? What was it like?
I was here in Milan like this on the computer screaming. I was screaming like this is what it is. So now I get to talk everything, for a long time, and we're still reigning champions. So you still get to talk and enjoy that.
Right. It's incredible.
How bittersweet is that, though? Just let that linger for free.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Was there a lot of pride in this when you were watching this? Because I imagine you heard it after UMBC, but I mean, what was the feeling like for you as a proud alum, and you did a lot of the legwork to get us to this point?
I mean, just being a part of the history, man. Now you can say, the alma mater you rep, the national champion, and again, like the tradition that he's established there now, and the things that he's doing, and he's molded that program into is outstanding. And this is what he's brought, a championship. So whether the doubters, if he needed big dogs or not, he got it done. And so, he solidified again.
Yeah. It's kind of amazing. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, because I understood too many people wasn't happy with the ACC championship he was bringing home. So these type of things, also make it even better for the program.
And hey, we'll end it with one last photo here. This is all the guys kneeling for injustice. This is after Colin Kaepernick started this, so this is for some odd years ago now, and all the guys kneeling, and then obviously everything that's transpired. But Have you seen this before?
I haven't seen this picture, but I like it. It's nice though. I'm glad that's the whole team.
Yeah, it's the whole team at that time. They all, after practice one day, they went, knelt, took the picture, posted it on the official Virginia account, which I thought was really cool.
Well, there it is.
Yeah, a lot.
There it is right there.
So then I was going to ask you, all that's going on today, you've been overseas. What has been your comparison of sort of like the police mentality in all the regions you've been as a black man overseas versus as a black man in America? Like, what is that contrast, or is there a difference?
I mean, there's a difference. I mean, I think more so, like I said, I've been in Europe since 22 years old, and I'm 39 now.
Half your life, basically.
Half my life, and me being home, I was home for like a month. So I haven't really had the chance to interact that much in my adulthood with the police like that. And I've had interaction. I've been through that in Virginia. Racial profiling, driving a car,
right.
And a couple other things. But that didn't stop me from just keep my focus and doing what I needed to do. Over here, I stay in my lane. I live, I go to work, I go home. I mean, I'm older now, so my life is not the same as it was, when I was, younger. So,
right.
I see the police all the time. Are they stopping people like that or these things? I haven't seen that, but with that being said, like nobody here can own a gun,
right?
Or
if
they have a gun, they have some type of special situation to have it. So, so I think that's probably a whole different fear aspect with the police doing their job here than some of the things that are happening over there. But
do the police have guns over there? I've heard they only have tasers, or is that certain regions they're full on?
I mean, I've seen some with it. I've seen some without.
Okay.
I mean, like I say, my first time in Europe, I went through France. K-47, just sitting like across the chest.
Wow.
That was my first time ever seeing that in my life. I was like, well, what is this?
Wow.
What is this? You know what I'm saying? I'm with a high school team at the time. So
wow.
That shocked me. I've never seen that before in my life. But, at the end of the day, like I said, the civilian doesn't have a gun like that. So if it is something, it's probably more dealing with a knife or they, beat them up with a baton. And again, I don't really look, search that out. I'll just stay in my lane.
That's awesome. So what are your plans now? You said you retirement now, a couple of years. You're still in Italy. Is that home for you and your family now?
Yeah, I've been a resident. I've been a resident out here for a while. I've been retired for 3 years more so. I've been getting an education out here. I'm a high school coach at a private school here, so I do coaching as well. So I mean, it's nothing strenuous, just recharging my body, the bones. I have faint pains here and there,
right.
Athlete pains like any other guy has.
Your basketball feet are tired.
I don't play basketball anymore.
Yeah.
I would train you till your feet hurt. You
right.
understand? But for me to do it, I can't do it. I don't have any cartilage left in my knees.
Oh, we appreciate you so much jumping on. I know it's late for you, so early for us, which is why Mark and Fresh obviously work jumping in. Yeah, but we so appreciate anything else for the Cavalier fan out there, Wahoo fan out there that we missed on this one.
Nah, man. I mean, I just I hope the how you say history will be spoken about again, man. Just talk about guys that deserve to be, to be spoken about.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you can start with actually putting some more jerseys up. Please, somebody explain to me because I don't know. I mean, maybe as an alumni, I would call somebody and ask. I don't know, but why are there no, why are any more jerseys up? You don't have to retire a number, but I think some guys have proven themselves in the conference.
Right.
To be top conference players. Like, I mean, I've seen other schools which are, you know, people's jersey, not jersey, but name or whatever. And they're not all Americans in NBA.
Yeah. Like Maryland, I remember Maryland, they retired like everybody.
Hey, you know what? Most of them have a national championship or ACC, tournament situation as a team.
Right. Right. No, we'll do our part and make sure we're trying to bring it back with locker room access and shine the light on the history and bring you guys back to talk about the current team and past and compare it. We feel like it's important for everybody to remember the greats like you and not be lost, because it's kind of a shame, right? The kids today now have YouTube; they can go on there and their videos and their highlights just live on and on. Whereas we were just talking like Willie and Fresh and Stiff and you and Roger, like no highlights. They're just not on there. So we're gonna do our best. We're gonna go back and try to dig them up and do the work.
Man, think about the time then when somebody actually knew you was really good.
All right.
You were in the paper.
Right.
It wasn't no internet. Nobody knew who you were. They seen you in the paper, or heard, by mouth, and then verified it, seeing it. But, shout out to all the young kids that, that is providing a better opportunity. That everybody is not fortunate enough to get in the, in the paper, and that's the way of the world now. But it is what it is with that.
Yeah.
But I like what y'all doing, with this, and like I say, keep doing what y'all doing, man.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
This is good. This is good.
We have some gear for you. I have no idea how to get it. I mean, we got to get it to you somehow. I like your "Shut the Hell Up" Juice shirt. We got.
You see my boy?
Yeah, hell yeah, that's awesome.
Shout out to my homie Mar Hog out there, man. That's
he does our football podcast.
That's my guy. Yeah, that's a brother of mine too, man. I was able to be close to him while I was at home work. While I was in Charlottesville, the same time I was at UVA.
Yeah.
Through family member, and we clipped up, and I've been supporting this movement ever since, and now he's doing his thing, man.
Yeah, he is. He's great. Him and Tony Covington do our podcast for football, which is like this, and they're getting football guys on every week. It's great. I mean, we just try to do it, man. Yeah, he's great.
He's a real personality, though. He's a real personality. So
he's great.
Shout out to my boy.
Absolutely. So appreciate you. Be safe out there. We'll link all your info below. I know Facebook, you pack, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you got. We appreciate.
I don't have too many things. I'm not the technical guy like that, but
we'll get you.
You definitely
appreciate you.
You have what you need.
Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate you having me on and taking the time and stuff like that.
Absolutely. We appreciate you so much.